So I wanted to make this video about manifesting because there's just been a message that's been coming in really strongly for me in the last week as I've been watching Once Upon a Time. So you might have seen it. It's a series, and it's about fairy tales and all these different fairy tale characters. And well, a couple of things that is coming up in that. They're always talking about magic and how magic has a price, and it's always a negative price. So that's programming. But the other thing, that side, they're always talking about belief, right? They're always saying you just need to believe. You just need to believe it, and it shall be. And if you are, all of us in the last decade, the spiritual community is absolutely swamped with videos about manifestation, about we think about The Secret, right? The Secret book that came out, and it was made global, right? It was on like Oprah Winfrey, let's say. She had it on her, and obviously we're all starting to learn the truth about her, right? So we know these programs are there to put things into the collective that are slightly off kilter. So they give us a message about manifestation, and it feels like it's truth because there is elements of truth in it. But the bigger picture, there's actually the context, the real truth, the fundamentals of these true universal laws are not there. So it keeps people chasing these manifestations that never materialize. Now think about, I got pulled into this maybe 6-7 years ago, watching all these videos about The Secret, I just need to believe it. If I just believe it, if I just say these affirmations over and over again, if I just act like I've already got it, and it didn't happen, right? And it leaves you feeling, actually then you start to think, oh my God, what's wrong with me? Like, am I doing something wrong? They're saying it's so simple. It's just all these steps. I'm doing these steps. It's not actually aligning. And you start to feel shame about yourself, guilt about yourself. And it brings up all these negative thoughts. And then you get, but I don't want to think those negative thoughts because, they've said to me, just think positive. And there's still so much bullshit out there about manifestation, right? And, as this program has been bringing it up because you say you just need to believe. Now there's an element of truth in that belief is important, but belief is not the fundamental underlying principle of us aligning with and manifesting the lives that we want to align with and manifesting. Belief is important. It's way beyond belief, right? Yes, belief is important in a way that if we believe something about ourselves, then it gives us, it creates a tension, or it creates a friction. It creates something that helps us to take the steps that we need to take in order to align. And by align, I mean moving to a vibrational frequency where that reality that we believe is possible for ourselves can actually manifest in the physical world. So whilst it's important to have a belief, like I think about the fact that when I left my finance job years ago, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, I forget now, 2021, in order to pursue a new career path, in order to move in, well, it started with traditional hypnotherapy, but now I'm a soul therapist, now I'm a spiritual teacher, a spiritual guide. But in doing that, I believed that I could do it. And because I had that belief, it allowed me to take the necessary steps, to have the courage to do that, to take those steps. But just, I believed it back then, but it didn't manifest. My dream life certainly didn't manifest because I believed it back then. The belief was the first part of moving me forward. So whilst it does help to have belief, to help us move forward, because if you don't believe, if you think, well, I can't do that, and you've got all these things that go against what you want, then of course you're not going to take steps, because our beliefs are like these. In fact, I'm going to link a video. It's a video that I did ages ago, but it's such an amazing video about thoughts and beliefs, about how they keep us in a loop. So if we have a belief that goes against what we want, then we're not going to take the steps that we need to take. We're not going to go the distance. We're not going to keep moving forward. So belief is an element, yes, but just to believe something is not going to bring it in to physical reality. And obviously we've got to take action, but it's even deeper than that as well. Because in order for us to we want to be taking guided action. We want to be taking action that is going to actually align us with that dream, that frequency, that belief that we want. So what is the most important element of actually making our dreams come true? It's actually our vibration, it's our frequency, it's the vibration. And what impacts our frequency the most? Well, it is trauma stuck in the body. It is emotions that have not been processed through the body, and these traumas and emotions are generational ones, passed down, societal, collective, ancestral. We're born into them, we pick them up. There's so many layers to these emotions and wounds, and a lot of these emotions and wounds create these negative beliefs. So there's negative beliefs that are blockers, emotions, wounds. So the most important crucial element of manifesting your dream life is healing. It's literally focusing on your spiritual growth and development through inner work, inner journey. And it's about going inside and releasing all of the wounds that are held within our energetic bodies. And some of those wounds are from past lives, and we don't understand logically what they are. So when we make ourselves, our healing, our growth, our spiritual development central to our life, then we have that belief to keep us taking the steps that are presented in front of us. But as we're taking those steps, because so in order for me to get to where I am today, I had to really heal a lot of programs inside my body that made me feel like I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't smart enough. There was so much that I had to heal inside of me as I took each and every one of those steps. So I could believe it, and I did believe it. I've always had this belief in myself, and knowing that these dreams in my heart are there for a reason. And because I've focused on healing, that's allowed me to keep adjusting my vibration, to keep unloading. The more programs that I've managed to dissolve and transmute through my healing, the more I've jumped on to that higher timeline, the more the path has opened up. When it comes to these things that we want to manifest, often it's not even about manifesting that thing. We can think it's that, what drove me forward is, I had this dream. I wanted to live a life of freedom, of sovereignty, a life where I can contribute to the world, doing something that lights me up inside, that brings joy into my very body. And then I share that light, and it brings light into the world. So it's like what I call is a win-win-win situation. These are the kind of businesses, soul-led lives that are going to really revolutionize this world, are going to change this world. That's what I wanted to live in. I wanted to be able to be financially free. I wanted to be able to go wherever I wanted, whenever I wanted, travel around the world, work from anywhere. I wanted to be able to share things that I was so excited about, interested in. And that is the picture, the dream. And I had the belief I could do this because it was in my heart, and I knew that my soul had a plan for me. It had a blueprint for me, which was to live that life. I know we all can live these lives, and I'm here to do that, to embody that, and to harmonize the path to help others embody that as well. But I've realized along this journey that whilst I believed that was possible, I didn't wake up and I believed it and boom, I'm there, I'm living it. No, I've had to go on a journey of healing. I've had to do certain inner work. I've had to, I've been dedicated to my spiritual practices every single day. And it's not difficult because your whole day is a spiritual practice. If you want it to be, right, it's up to you. You just have to choose to be conscious and aware and participate in your day. And when you do that, it becomes alive. You become alive. You start to wake up. You start to become alive. So you start to observe all of your experiences. You start to realize that the world is a mirror and it's reflecting things back to you. So if there's something that you don't like, then there's something to heal inside of you. And then you can start to shift and make new decisions. You can start to transmute energies that have been blocking you. So I realized that whilst I had the belief, and belief is important, just having a belief is not going to manifest your life. So a lot of these videos out there make you think that you can just have this belief. You can just have a belief, you can just write it down, you can just see it in your mind, and you can just pretend like, how can you, that is so, I found that so difficult. I was like, you want me to act like I've got it, like you want me to feel like I've got it, but I found that really difficult to feel like I had it when I didn't have it, okay? And I realised that that wasn't what I needed to focus on. I needed to focus on every single day just doing my inner work to align with harmony inside the body, to bring peace into the body, to connect to my light. I realised the key was connecting to my soul, to my divinity, and growing that. And as I started connecting to my soul and my divinity, and I started growing my light, well, that light started to dissolve and transmute all the blocks, all the emotions that got frozen in the body, all of the trauma. Things started to come up from my subconscious, so I could start to see them. So things that have been buried, programs around people pleasing that have been buried, programs about not feeling good enough that have been buried, they all started to come up. And as they started to come up, boom, I could start to heal them because I could acknowledge them, because I could see them, and I could start to become curious. Where did that come from? Why have I said yes when I mean no? Why am I doing that when I don't want to do that? And I could start to course correct, I could start to alchemize, I could start to change. So I realized that in doing that, so in having the belief, yes, it's important, but that is not the main thing. In fact, you can manifest your dreams without believing that you can. If you're people that just work on their healing are going to be moving into their higher timelines organically because their vibration is lifting. And what I would say as well is sometimes, and I say this often, what I actually started to hold in my mind was, rather than this really detailed picture of what I wanted, I started to let that go. And what I started to hold instead is that, I want to manifest. I want to be in alignment. I want to be in alignment, let's say, rather than manifest. I want to be in alignment with my soul's highest dream. When I created this life and you created your life, before you incarnated, you created a plan. Your soul created a divine blueprint. And there is a highest timeline. There's a timeline where your soul said, look, if we're prepared to do our work, inner work. This is not about working hard externally. That is a program that actually stops us from doing our inner work because we're too exhausted to do it, because we're always putting ourselves last, our needs last. So it's not about when I say work, inner work is not the same work as going to work 9 till 5. It's completely different. It's actually about really what we're doing is we're starting to love ourselves again. We're starting to find all the parts of ourselves that are fragmented and bring it back in. And the soul has a plan, has this amazing dream that it wants to experience in this life, and the human part of it's up to the human part. It can't do it on its own. This is why we say it's a co-creation. We co-create our lives if we choose to pay attention, if we choose to be aware and start to tune into those subtle messages that are always come through. And that requires us to spend time in stillness, to spend time doing things that we love, that we enjoy, so that our channels can open up, spend time in nature, spend time going inside and connecting to our light. Our souls created this blueprint, but it can't do it without us. It can't do it. We have to decide that we want to create that life, and we as the human have to create the environment that the soul can then come in and do its magic. And it is magic what the soul can do as you work in alignment with it is magic. Like I say, it'll start to heal all those illusions inside the body, all the distortions in the body. It's the illusions and it's the distortions of the traumas, the wounds, the negative beliefs that actually stop us from manifesting our dreams, from living in our dreams. And as we go on that, so we can have a belief and that can have something to aim for, but it's actually that journey that we go on rather than the thing itself that creates all of the magic, that creates all of the expansion and the growth. So hopefully that made sense. I think my message here is, what was really coming through was, I'm just so kind of like hearing that message so much about, you just need to believe, you just need to believe, you just need to believe, and just see it and just believe it, and just see it and just believe it. And I know that can let people can feel exhausted with that and feel like, well, I do believe it. And then you start to not believe it, right? So it has, right? This is how these programs that they put out there, like with The Secret and things like that, where they're keeping out real, the context, the truth, things that really matter that we need to know, that it actually takes your belief and it starts to turn it into non-belief. Because there's been times along my path where I believed it and then I thought, oh God, it's not showing up. I start doubting myself. Am I wrong? And that's before I realised that wasn't the most important ingredient. So you can actually start to make you not believe because you're believing it and it's not showing up, and you're like, but I believed it all this time and it's not showing up. So now you start to not believe, right? So it's like a false light program, I call it. It looks like light on the outside, but when you dig down into the energetics of it, it's not light. When you really feel for the truth, you realise it's not light. So yes, it's great to believe, but belief is not the most important ingredient to manifesting your dream life. It's actually inner work. It's actually connecting to your light, expanding your light, connecting to your soul, reconnecting back to your true soul self. I say this in the Reconnect program that I've got, which you can get access to below, and you can start today. You can even get a free week below as well. I say this all the time. The soul is the antidote to everything. When we start to reconnect back to the soul, our souls are connected to the Godhead, to Source, always. And that is a benevolent field. We've been programmed, again, distorted around what Source is, what God is. It's a benevolent, loving energy, intelligent energy, and our souls are always connected to it. When we connect to our souls, as we go inwards, we get a direct connection to Source. And the soul, the energy of the soul is so high vibrational that as we're connecting into that light in the body and it's expanding into our energy field, it dissolves all of the stuck emotions, it dissolves the negative programs, it dissolves the distortions, it starts to heal these things out of the body. More of the soul starts to take up space in our energetic system. As more of the soul takes up space, our frequency is lifting. As our frequency lifts, those things that we dream of, that's when they start to come in, because we're in alignment. So our job is to get into alignment. It's not just to believe and write things down and be like a parrot repeating an affirmation. I'm not saying that it's not good to think positive and keep our vibration as I'm not saying that. However, you don't have to fear the negative, and actually we need to face those things, those shadows, and start to transmute them. And as we go on a healing journey, on a reconnection journey, it's exactly what we do. We see those shadows and we realize it's not the truth of who we are. We start to realize a higher picture of light. We start to turn on the light, and as we turn on the light, we can start to rearrange the energetic programs that are in our bodies, and then we start to align. So I just wanted to share this because I wanted to add more context, and especially for people, like I say, like, you know, I was in that position a long time ago, like watching this, and there's still so many videos out there saying this same message, just missing the key points of alignment, of you actually got to clear out the distortions in your field to align with it. And it's that journey that you go on. So the belief helps you move forward. Yes, it gives you a point to move forward. It's good to have belief, but it's not the only ingredient, and you need to understand that. So if you're not getting the results that you want right now, if things aren't coming in, know that it's not because you're doing anything wrong. You just need to continue to focus. Bring your focus back to yourself. Where can I love myself more? Where am I not loving myself? Where am I allowing? Where am I putting everyone else's needs before my own needs? Where am I being a martyr in my life? Where am I not honouring the self in my life? Where am I out of integrity? It's these things that we need to start focusing on in our life. Where am I not integrity with myself? Where am I people pleasing? Where am I this? And those are the things, these are the spiritual practices that we do daily, that we observe in our life, that helps us to start to heal those things. And what we're doing when we're self-honouring, we're turning on the light. What we're doing when we're no longer people pleasing, we're turning on the light. What we're doing when we're not judging ourselves anymore, we're not being harsh, critical, we're starting to love ourselves with compassion, we're starting to turn on the light, we're starting to raise our frequency, and it's going to mean that we start to bring into our life that which we desire to bring in.